know, they were talking about climate change yesterday, and now we're learning that scientists and researchers are looking at how to change the weather on purpose. That's right. Lasers now could one day manipulate rain and lightning. CBS This Morning contributor Michio Kaku is a physics professor at City College of New York. Professor, nice to see you. Extraordinary seeing Al Gore and Bill Clinton there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, they did not get into this discussion, though. But it is fascinating. I mean, lasers, really, to change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said, everyone complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially a game changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far it works. When you have water vapor and you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning.
Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War, to wash out the Viet Cong. Governments have been playing with this thing.
Alleged to.
Alleged to, right.
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged to have experimented with weather control, but nothing conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using trillion-watt lasers now. And in the laboratory, sure enough, they precipitate rain out of water vapor. Sure enough, you can actually bring down electricity down the beam.
So what does it mean for drought areas that need to have rain for crops? And if they don't have them, there's the consequences of famine.
Well, the bad news is if it's a clear blue sky, it's not going to do anything at all because it only takes water vapor that's already in the air and condenses it. However, for floods, for agriculture, farmers, for people planning wedding parties, football games, you name it, outdoor events and agriculture and flooding and even hurricanes, all of them could be subject to weather modification.
Incredibly interesting, Professor Michio Kaku. Thank you so much.
Out of Hawaii, and those devastating wildfires, you can see just how much has been burned to a crisp. The death toll now rising to 55 people on Maui's island. More than 1,000 homes and cultural landmarks destroyed or damaged, including an entire historic town. ABC's Melissa Adan reports.
A race to contain the raging wildfires racing across Hawaii as the death toll rises. The blaze now the second deadliest in U.S. history over the last century. Officials now fearing the death count to grow over the coming days. As some people jumped into the ocean to save themselves, this man doing just that after battling flames for 3 hours.
And I ran to the ocean and I gave in. Everything gone.
Emergency doctor Reza Dinesh rushing into the historic town of Lahaina with his mobile clinic to treat burn patients.
It literally felt like an atomic bomb went off and survivors were coming out.
Aerial footage showing what's left of Lahaina, the one-time capital of the Hawaiian kingdom that has deep cultural roots, much of it now gone.
People lost everything, homes, jobs, their cars, some their pets. There's still people missing. I've fought wildfires in California. I've never seen something ravage so fast.
Many homes and businesses reduced to rubble, burned out hulls of boats washed up onto the shore.
We have a scar on the face of Maui that will be here for a very long time.
President Biden issuing a disaster declaration for Hawaii.
Anyone who's lost a loved one whose home has been damaged or destroyed is going to get help immediately.